Kidderminster Harriers Fans Podcast, episode 57. You're joined by myself, by Jon, and Nick is on the way. We may as well start this with an apology. I've already apologized a few times, but we'll do it again. Last night, when I got back in, I put a picture up with the intention of just showing two teams that should have had no connection whatsoever, but they were connected by humanity yesterday after the game. And both Radcliffe and Kidderminster Harriers, the physios, and everyone else got involved, and they helped the dire situation that was Dibble and Joe having they had a smash. So I managed to get a photo of it, and it was only to highlight how well it was that Radcliffe had helped us. Jon, I know we talked about it earlier, and we said, well, you'd kind of expect the other team to do that, but it was so lovely to see that happen. It really was. There was loads of well wishes and that kind of thing. So if anyone was offended by that, sorry, that's about that. So there you go. Jon, how are you, mate? You drinking something, mate? What's going on there?
I'm actually enjoying, and the older generation amongst us will enjoy this. A kind of Carling Black Label. It's if anyone remembers that from the 90s, then it's back in POG form, and it's I would say probably not the same taste it was in the 90s when it was made with God knows how many carcinogens, but I'm trying to be fully nostalgic. So channeling the spirit of Graham Olner in my lager. Wes, before we go any further, just to follow on from what you said about the incident yesterday. Obviously, I wasn't there yesterday, but it was horrific to hear what had happened. Yeah. They're not just two of our best players, but also two thoroughly nice blokes who've really got a lot of time for every single one of our fans, families, the younger ones in particular. Dibs always goes out of his way to take photos with everyone, and Joe just hasn't got enough time. Hasn't got enough time. Has always
got loads of time
for everyone.
Everyone,
his family as well listen to the podcast and engage with us a little bit and have a chat with us, and really appreciate all of their kind words on a weekly basis.
Also, Jon, when it happened and they called the game off, you could just see the security was just itching to get rid of us. But the head security guy came over. Nice Irish guy. He came. I think that was Irish. He came over and he was like, "Listen, I've been told I've got to move you on, but that's the least of my worries. So just if you want to stay, stay." And I thought that was really, really nice. There must have been at least half of. I know people had to go and whatever, but at least half of them stayed and stuff. And I believe the sports coach stayed as well. So yes, that was really cool. It was nice the way it was united in just the worst circumstances. Absolutely. Nick, evening.
Hello.
Pink tonight, making the girls wink, mate. That's what we're doing.
Sort of a bit of a dibble vibe with a pink shirt.
Yeah.
To be fair, obviously got a lot of love for both players. Dibble, sort of echoing the sentiments that you made there, Jon. Sorry, Wes, I missed your opening gambit, but like you makes a lot of time with my little girl. Obviously, goalkeeper union and all that jazz with her. So we were really worried yesterday at home, and I was sort of explaining to her what was going on, and she kept asking me, how is he and stuff like that. So one of those. And then again, to echo Jon's point, Joe's been a fantastic player for this football club, and his family are proper Harriers fans now, I feel, and are really part of Agbra on a match day and away games as well. So you wouldn't want it to happen to any Harriers player at all. No player in a Harriers shirt, but for it to be those two, I think it hit home quite hard for quite a lot of the fans yesterday. So just glad they're okay first and foremost. But from a footballing sense, they're also probably the two players you'd least like to have an injury that puts them out for the rest of the season, because other than being top blokes with top families, they're two of our top players as well, and they're going to be very difficult to replace. But that's secondary really to their health and well-being, which from the sounds of it seems to be on the mend, albeit a bit of a slow journey back to full health.
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. Yeah, well said. So the plan is we'll talk about Chorley, but before we do that, something really nice has happened. And you may know this guy. This is David.
I know David.
You know David, right?
Yeah, he plays the football on a Sunday after us.
Yeah, yes, he does. That's Gary's kid, David, and he's a lovely guy. Always got time for him. He says, "Could you?" I got this message going. Could you give David a mention on the podcast? He's received the news that he has been accepted on a college course with Heart of Birmingham Vocational College in conjunction with Redditch United. It is the only special educational needs football course in the country. The chairman of Redditch United has a nephew or a niece who has special educational needs, so has an interest in this area. Dave will be at college based at the Redditch United Stadium. He's looking forward to this. If you give him a mention, he would be over the moon. So, David, my friend, well, congratulations to you, but let's give you a big round of applause. There you go. Well done, David. Well done, mate.
That's brilliant. Such a nice guy as well. Such a nice lad.
And it's something that's really close to my heart, with being involved in SEN football, and a lot of you listening and around Agborough will know my son Rory, and he's one of the youth SEN team at Harriers, which is I know I spoke about it last week, but a brand new initiative at the Harriers, and we're hoping for a pathway into adult football for those kids with special educational needs and other disabilities who just want to go out and play football and enjoy it, and it's a passion of theirs. So it's great that Redditch are offering that. I didn't actually know about that course, and to be the only one in the country is something special. This area geographically is really leading the way in terms of SEN football and disability football, and really proud that Harriers are stepping up and being a big part of that. It's in its infancy at Harriers, but there's big things coming, and being inclusive is a huge part of where this football club's going. So thanks to everyone who has helped get that off the ground, and all the way up to Richard Lane. Thank you, Richard, for putting the finances behind that. Adam at Harriers Foundation, his support for it, and shout out to Redditch for what they're doing, and huge congratulations, David. That's a massive achievement.
Well done, David. Absolutely brilliant
stuff.
Well
done, David.
And the shirt looks great as well. So thank you very much, David. Well done. Right. So we do have one game to talk about tonight. And then, spoiler alert, we're going to have a look at the table and the games that happened yesterday. There was one winner, I think, yesterday, and that was South Shields. And we'll have a look at that in a moment. And then we'll have a look at opposing teams in the playoffs and the running they've got, Nick, okay? So we're going to do that stuff. Sure. So that's going to happen. Yep. So, Chorley, John, Nick, you were there, right? Chorley? Break it down now.
John was there.
Oh, yeah, I was there at Chorley. I mean, I hate to say it, but the better team won. And we can say that, there were a number of ways that we could have approached the game differently, a number of ways that they approached the game that didn't suit us. But it was a simple case for me that that they were the better team. They pressed us, I thought, superbly well. We really struggled to play our game. They stopped us from doing that with their pressing game. They chose to play long ball at the right opportunities, and we were really restricted in what we could do. What I will say is we kept our effort and dedication high for the full 90 minutes. And we were hampered by some really poor officiating. Their first goal was offside. Their keeper did handle outside of the box. But those are two. Well, actually, to be fair, they also should have had a penalty. But there were two incidents there amongst the 90 minutes where they were simply, I thought, the better team. That doesn't happen that often. And when I left Chorley, I thought, how many times this season have we gone, okay, well, we've just been beaten by the better team? Not many. I remember at the start of the season, I highlighted two games that I thought were going to be our toughest. One was Kings Lynn away and one was Chorley at home. And also highlighted the brilliance of Ellis and thought that we should be going in for him. And I thought he was great yet again. They're a really funny team because the capability that they've got in their squad, the way that they play teams at their own game, the way that they absolutely dominate, and I mean dominate a penalty area, should see them doing better than they are and far higher than they are. But yeah, we came away with, I think, what was the deserved result. No points, unfortunately. But that game's gone now. We've got an awful lot of games left that are very, very winnable. We're really fortunate that results have been going our way, really, in our pursuit of third place. And I think we're all agreed that that's what we're going for. And yeah, I don't think that was massive harm to that.
Yesterday was really weird. In fact, we'll look at it after we've had a look at the scores from yesterday. But yesterday, even though the game was suspended, we managed to go to third. We were in third position. I don't know how that's happened, but there you go. It's a goal difference, I'm guessing. But yeah, there you go. So if you look at the results from yesterday, Telford lost. No one saw that coming, I wouldn't have thought. Buxton beat Bedford Town. They had 2 players sent off. That's nice. Chester lost to Southport.
Chester took the lead as well. 1-0 up.
Yeah. Kings Lynn only got a draw. Scarborough won away at Leamington, a place we're going to in a few games' time. Maxfield beat Hereford, and Hereford got another player sent off there. 3-1. Oxford beat Chorley, the team that we couldn't beat on Tuesday night.
I was surprised about that. Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't see. Did Hemo score? I didn't see.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No. But they've won 3 in a row now, I believe. Is that correct? Yeah. I think so.
And obviously, we've got them on Saturday, so that's going to be a challenging game after our trip to Darlow.
Yeah, Peterborough Sports. Peterborough Sports lost to Darlington, but you kind of would have put money on that anyway, wouldn't you? So what was that? There's still some more. Let me just add the games on at the end. There you go. I mean, surprise of the day must have been at the bottom, Worksop beating Fylde 1-0.
Yeah.
How has that happened?
Title race is still firmly on in this division. Make no mistake about it.
Absolutely. Spennymoor 1-1 with Alfreton. South Shields.
What a win for South Shields.
I know.
They're playing first, second v third, and they're 4-0 up. Significant victory, that. I know Merthyr haven't been the side they were sort of pre-January, but it's a hell of a result, that. I mean, yeah. And also, I think there's only 2 in it, goal difference-wise. I think Fylde are 2 ahead on goal difference.
Yeah.
So, like I said, that swing of goals yesterday for South Shields of 4 is actually potentially really important going into the final few games.
Let's 3 goals. Let's have a look at the table then, Nick. So far at the top, South Shields 1 point in it. Oh, but there's a lot of goals in that as well.
There's only 3.
What?
There's only 3 goals in it.
So my eyes are deceiving me.
Only 3 goals in it. So yesterday was a bit of a swing on that. That sort of brings that right back into contention now.
Yeah. Absolutely. We've got 2 games on them. I mean, is there any chance we're going to catch South Shields? Is there
Zero.
any chance?
No,
No,
zero
there's no
chance.
chance.
Zero chance. I mean, look at the top two's goal difference. I mean, that is staggering, to be honest.
This is a Notts County Wrexham season, isn't it? You know, they are absolutely flying.
Yeah, the best two teams in the league, like that National League season. That's not to say that they'll both go up, but if you look at it that season, County did the playoffs just about. They beat Chesterfield, and I imagine they're going to have to come through a Harriers or a Macclesfield or someone to do it, whoever it is that finishes second. But I would personally be shocked if both of them don't go up. I think Macclesfield have a real good chance. I think those are the three who my money would be on. Two of those three right now. Of course, Harriers are in the mix. Merthyr, all those teams in there will be in the mix, and ultimately it's a cup showdown when you get into the playoffs. But when you are, 18 odd points ahead, and I mean my maths isn't even that good, but 30 odd goals ahead, that is great. That is comprehensive. That they're the best two teams.
It's game over. It's game over for the top two places. Neither of those teams are finishing third. And I think for a while now, we've been looking, probably for a number of months, we've been looking at third as the best possible outcome. I think Adam Murray's thinking exactly the same. I think the whole squad are thinking exactly the same. But if we get third, then we've got 2 one-off games to get out of this division. And I would say, playoffs are, in essence, a lottery. You could have Scarborough go to South Shields and win. You don't know. And South Shields have, as well as scoring a hell of a lot, have shipped a few as well. The worry for me, looking at all of that, is Macclesfield, because they're only 2 points behind us on the same number of games played. Yeah. I think that they've got the capability, as we saw when we went to their place, to really turn it on and to utilise their pitch well. So I'm hoping for an away game for them in their playoff game. I've no doubt they will get in the playoffs, but I'm hoping for an away game there. So that gives us more of an opportunity. And yeah, I do worry that they're going to pip us to third if we're not careful.
Do you think, because I'm going to say this, I think Macclesfield was so ratty. They were just such a ratty team and just in your face all the time. And that's what you need in the playoffs. You've got to be like that. You've got to, because there's no point in playing all your lovely football. It doesn't work. You've got to get in there, score your goal, and get out as fast as you can.
It's an interesting one, because the perception on South Shields, like you've just said there, John, is that, kind of open teams score lots of goals, concede goals. They've actually got the best defence in the league. Harriers are second on goals conceded. It's Fylde that are the ones that have, I think, scored the most. It might be Fylde or Merthyr. But yeah, you watch how South Shields play and think they're sort of, I'm not going to say it's basketball type game. They do sort of dominate possession. But they play really fluid, a bit like Merthyr. And Merthyr have conceded a lot of goals playing that way. But it's strange how South Shields, who play a very similar style of football, have been able to typically not concede many. I think there's only Harriers who are anywhere close to them in terms of goals conceded. But they did have, and I know John will know about him, they had an unbelievable goalkeeper. I don't know whether he's been sold in the season or got a really bad injury or something. I don't know whether he's still involved, but maybe he's played a big part of it, because he was seen as like a mega prospect, the South Shields keeper. And that a good goalkeeper can be worth 10, 15 goals, can't it, a season? So they might be open, but he might have been pulling off some worldy saves to sort of stem the flow. I wouldn't want to play South Shields or Fylde. I know we've beaten them both, but I don't know. I just feel like that's going to be a tough one. Either of them away from home. I know we said it last week, didn't we? We talked about we'd rather have neither, ideally.
Neither. Next. As I said, I stick by the fact, a lot of people have said South Shields because they are the kind of team that we really love to play against, and they are the kind of team that we really love to play against. They're front foot, open, possession based, and we just love to press those teams. We absolutely do. But I just think with how much difference a crowd can make, I just think, getting up to Fylde and making it, as I said last week or the week before, it's like essentially a home game. I think would make so much difference there. South Shields, I went to the away fixture there earlier in the season, and good place to play football, good team to play football against. But we're going to be absolutely drowned out there, and I wouldn't blame anybody who normally would go to a home game for not going to that. If it's a playoff final there, it's a long way, it's a long stretch, and it's an expensive one to travel to because of the fuel and everything else. So for me, I'm still really hoping it's Fylde, but we'll see.
I'll just say something. I forgot what it was. Nick, that's for you there, mate.
It's not Miles Boney. It's Jasper Shake. He's the goalkeeper I was talking about from South Shields. I think he might potentially be on loan. I'm not sure. I've not had the chance.
Is it Boney's in now? I think
he's the goalie now. I think Jasper Shake might have been on loan from Chorley Town. But yeah, either way, he's top. Really good.
So I thought it's Kidderminster Harriers Fans Podcast episode 57. I thought what we do, just because we can, is just look at our closest opponents and their fixtures that will lead to the end of the season. This is pretty much all of them. Okay, so this is South Shields. So Saturday, they haven't got a Tuesday game. Saturday, Alfredton at home, easily winnable. Spennymoor. See, this is a derby. So they've got Spennymoor derby, and then they've got Darlington derby.
Yeah,
which is good for them. It's great for them because you look at they've got the whole Easter weekend with hardly any travel. Nice. They've got Alfredton at home. Realistically, their only long journey over that entire period between today and facing us in the last game of the season,
25th,
is Radcliffe. So if you were going to put your money on anyone in terms of where the advantage lies, it would absolutely be South Shields.
Bedford's pretty far though, John.
They're at home.
They're at home, mate.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying if they want to go away, it's still pretty far.
Our one's a decent journey, and also worth bearing in mind it's a 12:30 kickoff, assuming that's correct. So
yeah, it is. Yeah, they all are. They were moaning about
they'll be overnight for that game, I guess. Certainly, if the title's up for grabs, they'll be doing a Harriers at Southport and staying over and training at Bolton or whatever.
Or Villa
for that one. But 12:30 kickoff is a bit of a crap one for their supporters.
For their fans.
But yeah, let's hope the title's kind of still ongoing at that stage, and then they have to put the full team out and do what we had to do against Stockport on the final game of the season and go right to the very last second of the last game, then going into a playoff encounter. Let's hope that plays out. But they're more forward.
Someone's put in the comments, if it does go to the last day of the season, do we think the second place team will go up through the playoff, or will the psychology of doing so well and missing out impact them like it did to us last season?
I think,
assuming we're finishing third, or third or fourth, we can only hope it impacts them. I do think if I had to put my money anywhere right now, it would be on South Shields, given the running that they've got and the advantages
to win it, John.
To win it, yeah. If I had to put my money anywhere, it would be there. I think last day of the season, we'll have to see where we are. If we're solidified in a third place, I don't think we're going to potentially play the strongest possible side. I know momentum is an important thing, but I don't think we potentially play the strongest possible side. And we'll have to see. Obviously, it's all theoreticals at this point. Dan, hope you're well. Miss you, mate. Has said, just looking at the table, has the result stood from yesterday? No, it hasn't stood. The game will be replayed. But because Murphy got 4 goals at South Shields, they actually went below us on goal difference. So even though we haven't played technically, we've gone up a place because they've gone lower on goal difference. So
Yeah.
without playing, we've gone up a place, which is obviously very rare, but does happen. And nice that, you know, we're going into Tuesday night being in third place.
There you go. So these are Darlington's fixtures. We've actually got a Darlington fan who's watching this tonight. So even to you, my friend. Do you know what he said? He said, I said, why do you watch ours? He said, I like to hear what level-headed people are saying about their team. And I was like, wow, okay, we'll take that. Thanks very much. Yeah, you better go, John, and take your special. Yeah. Right, okay. So Darlington Harriers.
It's a tough run. Darlington's tough.
Very tough.
That is tough. You've got what? Filed. You got Scarborough.
Harriers,
you never
South
know.
Shields.
Oh my God.
Telford,
this is like a nightmare. This is a nightmare of a run-in, surely.
If you're Darlington looking at those games on paper, and it is obviously on paper, you just thinking still be in the playoffs by the end of this, I think, as opposed to really putting a run together. But if they do put a run together, then wow, they are going to be a team to avoid in the playoffs, because if they can come through this unscathed, and with some serious results, then you know you got to fancy them. But going away to South Shields, going away to Fylde, going away to Telford, all with very good home records, that's not going to be easy.
Even Scarborough at home is not easy by any means. I don't think we're easy at home either. I mean, looking at that, and apologies to the Darlington fan, I look at that list of fixtures and I think 5 points for them, which I know might sound harsh, but I genuinely think, you know, if I had to say what I thought the results would be in those games, I would say I think they're going to end up with 5 more points from now.
And that's what I mean. That probably wouldn't be enough for the playoffs. So I think if Darlington can still get enough results from those fixtures, albeit very difficult, I think they should be sort of content with being 6th or 7th place, given that pretty difficult looking on paper set of fixtures. However, they'll probably go and win 7 on the spin and end up third.
That would be 10 games in a row, Nick, if they did that. So, you know, there you go. They could come third. Right, that's Darlington. I don't know what's coming up because I can't. It's so small on the screen, I can't see. What have we got here? Playoff dates. Playoff dates 5th and 6th Tuesday. Hang on. Playoff dates 5th. 5th v 6th Tuesday, 28th of April. Wednesday, 29th of April, 4th to 7th. Both semi-finals on Saturday, the 2nd of May. And the promotion final is Saturday, 9th of May. Yes, of course it is.
So basically, if we do come 2nd or 3rd, we don't play until May, as in the tournament doesn't start until May, which is massive as well. So it's not just the games, is it? It's the added rest. And given the injuries that we suffered yesterday to 2 very key players, days are now actually really important. And that's not me saying Joe will be back or Dibbs will be back. Of course, we hope they will be. But the more days we have to try and get them to a position where they're able to play, the better, because they are just such key players. I know we've got sort of moved on from that now. We'll look at Fylde's fixtures, but such a difficult 2 players to replace, that hopefully if we can still find a 3rd place finish, that it gives us just an extra couple 3-4 days to try and get one of them maybe back fit and playing. Not quite sure how long they'll be out for.
So this is Fylde. Hated Fylde. Everyone hates Fylde, let's be honest.
Not a bad set of fixtures then at all.
Well, they've got Chorley away, Darlington at home,
Chester away.
Yeah, Chester away, Southport at home. Southport are one of those teams now, though, aren't they? Southport, they can produce a win if they need to, I guess. And last game of the season, they got Merthyr.
It's not an easy game.
It could be massive again for the top 4 or 5 in terms of our sort of position, if you will. So you've got Fylde v Merthyr, South Shields v Harriers. Like, that's the potential top 3 or 4 teams, and they're all playing each other on the final day. So it could be a bit of a swing.
Do you reckon when they did the fixtures, they're like, they'll love this?
It's an exciting last day. It's certainly an exciting last day. I mean, we need to keep our heads about us going forward to make sure that where we want to be on that last day, and that we're in a fortunate position that we've got 3 games in hand over the teams around us. We don't want to waste those. We don't want to take them for granted. Looking at these fixtures, I would rather be a South Shields fan than a Fylde fan. I think that there's some really potentially tricky games there. I think Chorley away, Chester away, I think they're tough games. I don't think Radcliffe at home is a gimme, and Merthyr away obviously is really tough as well. And Southport are always an X factor.
Oh, nice, John. Nice. Throw that in there. Can I just say though, like when you think about like the last run in the games, without actually seeing it, you can't really understand, how hard it is for some teams and stuff. I mean, Fylde may go smash everyone, like Nick was saying about Darlington going and doing that. You just don't know. But if we just look at the facts and the figures here, so we've got Fylde there. Let me try and see. The next one is it us? Let's have a look. Yeah.
There's also something about seeing other teams' fixtures and thinking they're easier because it's not your team.
Yep.
You see it more objective, I think. Like when it's your own team, I don't know what it is. Well, maybe it's just me. But like I look at our fixtures and think they're pretty. If you weren't a Harriers fan, and you might think it being a Harriers fan, but I think you'd look at that and go, that's tricky. Darlington away on a Tuesday night, having lost 2 massively key players. Hemo versus Harriers, first time really playing that. Long trip to Spennymoor on a Tuesday night. Local derby on the 3rd. Local derby on the 6th.
Yeah.
Kings Lynn at home, who can pull off a victory. Leamington historically have been really good at home, although they're clearly terrible this season. But there is a, and then South Shields final game of the season that's not on there.
No, cut off. Sorry, cut off.
Yeah, it was okay. But yeah, so you can sell it and spin it depending on what your thoughts are. But if you were not a Harriers fan, I think there's a tale to be told that's a difficult set of fixtures for us.
There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way that Murray and his team can come up with a Tuesday night team that no shit given. We're just going to go in there, smash it, and try and grab a 1-0 or whatever. Very much.
I hope
you would.
You know when Preston got that really. I mean, obviously that was a next level injury, but another one where the game was postponed.
You mean Matt
Preston against Alfreton at Agbo.
Yeah.
First game I've been to where the game's been postponed because the injury was so bad. I'm fairly sure the next game we had, don't quote me, was Boston on a Tuesday night, and the players had like "Get Well Soon" t-shirts on and all that kind of stuff, and it sort of, I felt like it galvanised the team for that particular game. And I think we've got to sort of almost hope that out of the bad that came yesterday, that somehow the group can find that sort of spirit for the 2 lads that got injured and pull out what would be an amazing result to go and beat Darlow. And if we did do that, I think it would really take not the pressure off, but I feel like it's a good start to what is a very difficult run in. I sometimes find that if you've got something to like hold on to, the team tends to do quite well in that following game. It's then what happens after that. But for me, just hope we win. Hope we win Tuesday night and sort of do it for Joe and Dibs, which I'm sure will be the message.
John, how many points? If I put you on the spot now, how many points?
Well, okay, let's just quickly go game by game. So Darlow, I think, is tough but very winnable. I think that they're a team that would suit our style of play. I think we can hassle them, get amongst them. I think we'll win on Tuesday night. Oxford, I think we're giving
1-1.
too much.
It's always 1-1, John. It's always 1-1.
I think we're giving too much to the Hemo factor. I think that we can go there and impose ourselves. I think of the 3 points there. I think 3 points against Spennymoor. Hereford, the local derby factor will play a part. However, I think if it didn't play a part, we'd end up probably on the end of a 5 or 6-0 win. So I think we'll probably probably beat them 2 or 3-0. Telford is a really tough game. I think that they're a team who have shown that they know how to win against the odds many, many times this season. I think we might come slightly unstuck there. Kings Lynn, I think that again, I think we can do similar to we did at the start of the season and shithouse, for want of a better word. Then
Love it. Sorry, love it.
Leamington, they're quite an expressive team when they want to be as well. So that we might potentially struggle there. But I think looking at that, 3, 6, 9, 12. I think there's 14, 15 points there.
I'll go with 12, Wes.
12 points for you.
12.
I'm going to go 15. I'm going to
South
be
Shields in as well, John.
Oh, South Shields. I'm going to say TBC on that one. You'll have to ask me again close to the time, because it depends on the run they're on, the run we're on, and I also think it depends on the positions in the league, and if they're going for the title, and if we're resting for playoffs. But I mean, what I am hopeful of is the fact that we won't need points at South Shields. I'm hopeful that it will be done and dusted in third place by then.
That would be really good.
So someone's mentioned in the comments regarding the keeper situation. Now, I'd say first and foremost, we don't want to second guess anybody's recovery from injury. We don't know how long Dibbs will be out for, but what we can say most certainly is that with concussion protocols, he's going to be out for at least 3 weeks. So in terms of the goalkeeper situation, our choices are Tom Palmer, who's obviously an integral part of the backroom staff now. We've got Josh Bishop, who is an incredibly hungry and capable young keeper, but not really tested at the level, even though he did play nationally against Barnet, but he's not really tested at the level over a series of games. And then we've got the option of an emergency loan, which I think is probably what we will look at. Now, for me, my number one choice there would be Joe Wright. I thought that he came in and did a superb job for us when we needed an emergency loan. I think he's down at Chelmsford on loan from Barnet at the minute. So I don't know what the contract situation would be there, whether they could recall him to then loan out to us for something to be slightly more financially beneficial for them, or whether we'd look at other options. There's plenty of keepers in National League, League Two, sat on the bench just waiting for an opportunity, and it might be that we look at one of them.
I like Nathan Ashmore, who was at or is at Boreham Wood. He was unbelievable in that game when we played at Boreham Wood at Agborough a couple of seasons ago. He was actually on loan at Bedford, I think it was, potentially before they had Joe Wright, after he'd been on loan to us for that one single game where Dibble got sent off against Telford. I don't know if he's playing at the moment. I just checked. I don't think he played the most recent game for Boreham Wood, but he's a really good keeper. So if he's available, then that would be a proper what I would class as a like for like kind of level. Replacement. Because let's face it. I know there's some comments in there on the chat about Tom Palmer. Tom Palmer, great guy, fantastic for the club, coach, brilliant, proper stalwart really for Harriers in that respect. But the season Dibble came in was the season Tom Palmer got his opportunity in the National League North, the season where we went up, and the difference between Palmer and Dibble was enormous. And I don't see Tom Palmer as the solution, as the replacement to Dibble at this stage. But hopefully we can get someone in who is, or who has the capability to do. And I think either Joe Wright or Nathan Ashmore, and I'm sure there's others available, that we could hopefully look to tempt across for a promotion push, essentially.
And I think, sorry, Wes, I was just going to say, I actually think Tom Palmer would say the same thing you've just said, Nick. I don't think he would actually want to come in and be that keeper that sees us through the rest of the season. I think he's actually a very talented coach. He's obviously a talented goalkeeper, but his role as a number one in the National League North side, I don't think is where his
career's
ties
going. I don't think that's the path he's taken,
yeah.
is it?
No, I think he's very, very happy in his coaching role. I think he's excelling in that, and I don't think that he would necessarily be chomping at the bit to get in between the sticks.
I get that sense, and he had a really bad injury as well. So how keen he would even be to be playing this level of football competitively for the next 4, 5, potentially 6 weeks, however long's left of the season, doesn't make sense. Whereas, to your point about Josh Bishop, he will absolutely be wanting that opportunity. And I think Adam Murray and Stuart Watkins will be in for some difficult, awkward conversations if it's not Bishop, because he strikes me the same way as he struck you, John, in that he fancies it, I think, doesn't he?
Yeah. Of course.
And also, I think the club are big advocates of Josh Bishop, but it's just a hotbed, isn't it, to be a goalkeeper going in right at the business end. And this is the business. It's literally business end now. So you've seen it today in the Carabao Cup final. Yeah. Arteta's made a big call on the goalkeeper, putting the number 2 in for the final.
Terrible.
It's not played out, and now there's and now they've lost the final to City, who are in the mix for the top 2, and it all comes down to a bit of psychology now, doesn't it? And goalkeeper position and that number 1 jersey, or 21, as for Dibble's sake, is it's a really difficult one. And if you look back over the Harriers' sort of history, you normally get a good one every 3 or 4 or 5 goes. So it's really critical that we get this one right.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nick. We just got a message coming in from Kai29Footy, whoever Kai is. Evening, Kai. I'm glad you found us. I hope your player are okay. I think it means players are okay. And yeah, they are. And Robert Fairbanks, who is a lover of the podcast, actually put a message on the hotline group this morning saying, "You won't believe this. I went for a run in Manchester this morning. And who did I meet? Dibble walking his dog with his wife, his partner." So yeah, yeah, exactly. So he is mobile, which is brilliant stuff, man. His head must be big time though, but that was absolutely. So yeah, that was good. Let me get rid of that. Here we go. Yeah. Oh, hello. What's Dan mean? Let's invite Dan in just to see what he's saying.
Surprised he's not putting himself in the hat for the number 1 jersey. To be fair.
Damn. We can't. It's back.
We haven't got Bedford away though in the fixtures, so it doesn't work for him.
Plus, he'd be confused. He scored against Bedford. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. Right. Okay. Thanks, Dan. Thanks for saying me. Right. Okay. So we did Harriers. That's Harriers there. It was that one there. Let's have a look. Who else is here? Have we done this one? Merthyr. We kind of know what everyone's playing Oxford at some point, which is fun. John, thoughts on Merthyr?
I'd much prefer our running to theirs. I think that they've got some really tough fixtures in there. I think Macclesfield are on a high and are getting stronger. Scarborough away, obviously Scarborough there or thereabouts. I think that is a tough one to go to their cabbage patch. And at home to Fylde, last day of the season, as we've already seen, is going to be a tough game, depending on whether the title's signed, sealed, and delivered by then. What my point would be, as I said earlier, is these 3 games that we've got are really key, because Oxford and Hereford, you would expect Merthyr to win both of those. So if you're looking at Easter weekend and you think, okay, well, if we're close on point.
Whose car's that in the background? That was very fast.
It was someone driving past, presumably auditioning for the next Fast and Furious film.
Or Deliveroo.
Yeah. So I would expect Merthyr to pick up 6 points from those 2 games. Yeah. So if we're going into the Easter weekend, anything like level on points, then I think they've got the edge there.
Hereford against Merthyr, that's a derby.
That will be tasty.
That is a derby and a half. That is. Why is Marine Merthyr cancelled, postponed? Anyone know?
Trophy.
Could be. Marine in the trophy course.
Of course it is. Well, that's going to. Well, they're not But how they even done that, man? Just annoys me. Yeah. So there you go. That was us looking at Merthyr. Right. Let me get the next one up. I like this. This is fun actually. Yeah. Right. Okay. Let's see. Telford. Now I put Telford in because they're up there. So do we take Telford seriously? What do you think? They're up there.
I think
scored
so.
A lot of goals. They've scored a lot of goals.
They're the kind of team that you wouldn't want in a final, because they could just blow you away, or you could smash them. I think they're kind of, I think they're that team that have got match winners in it. And if those match winners turn up on the same day, they're a real side. We saw it when we played them. They had key players missing. They were nowhere near their full complement. Was kind of the rhetoric at the time. But they've got on a real decent spell, with the exception of yesterday's sort of bizarre result at home. But they've got some good players. They've got some match winners. If they get a home game, it will be a good atmosphere. If they go away, they'll take a few. They'll be well supported. Yeah. If we did come fourth or lower, they would be a team I would really want to avoid, Telford. Personally. I think there's better options for us to play in that sort of top 7-8 at the moment than Telford.
I'm not massively worried about Telford, but ask me again, after Easter Monday, and I might say something different. But right now, I don't feel like they're the team that can come through and have that quality in depth in their squad that would threaten a playoff win. Watch me make an idiot of myself now when they get promoted. But of all the teams in and around there, they're probably the one that I'd think I'm not too worried about them.
Oh, that's the table again. Yeah, we did it all. I was going to put Buxton in, but honestly, it's about I've done 6 teams. I was like, I can't bother them. Anyway, Buxton might be in there, so. If they win the next game, they could be up there with Telford.
I think those are the teams there and around us, aren't they? And I think we look forward to Darlington on Tuesday night. It's a huge game. It's a huge game against someone who's very close to us in terms of points, not geographically, obviously. And this is one of the ones that I flagged up a couple of weeks ago as, a lot of teams who are travelling, who are part-time, your Merthers, etc., we should have the edge at this point. So the business end of the season, the run-in, is where our full-time status should come to the top, and we should be able to just show the edge in terms of fitness and longevity. And I hope that really starts to show Tuesday night at Darlow. I'm really confident about Tuesday night. I think that we'll go there and impose ourselves. And I think that we've got obviously wishing the boys well, and they are a big loss in terms of being around the squad and on the pitch. But I think we've got a squad now who all dig in for each other, like you say, Wes. It might also galvanise them, and I really feel like Tuesday night is a litmus test of that, and I'm hoping that I am right and that we come out with the 3 points.
So I'll be there. That'd be nice. I want to talk about.
I love John's belief that there's just no wavering belief with John.
It's happening with John. It's happening.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I wish I'm like on the opposite. I'm like the opposite of John. I'm always fearful of. I'm always like, I'm never that confident. But it's like the Telford comment. I've just looked. They've scored like 20 odd plus more goals than us. Yes, they've conceded a few more than us as well. But I don't know. Because we're not free flowing. I just am always apprehensive about how we're going to get on. But I think that's just my preference of, I guess, teams that I feel like more belief in. I'm not saying I don't have any belief in this team, because that's not true. But I look at Tuesday night and think, I think the injuries to Dibble and Joe might weirdly get us through that game. I do think the team will galvanise, and there will be a spirit within the group, hopefully anyway. I'm worried after that game, after Tuesday night, someone's put it in the comments, Joe Folks is a level above at this level. He is one of our best players, if not our most consistent player, certainly outfield.
He's taking the free kicks that aren't direct that you would set.
And he's not the Joe Folks of old in terms of under Phil Brown and Penn. He was a right wing back. Under Murray, I feel like I've said this before on the podcast. He plays a different type of inverted role, and I feel like he's more integral to like elements of the play. So to replace him with, let's say, George Walker, who was originally signed as a right back, let's just assume it's Walker. It could be Farke, because Murray said, didn't he, that when Farke made his debut, that's not the position he signed him for, and he's right-footed. So maybe he is a right back, in which case
he doesn't look like a right back though, does he?
No, I know what you mean.
When you think of right back, you think of Gary Neville.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure we might have that cover in there, but my point was going to be Walker, I don't think, can do what Joe does from being on the ball and having that sort of the technical level that Joe possesses when he's got the ball at his feet. As much as I love Walker, I think he's got different attributes. So it'll be interesting to see whether Murray changes the style of the team or the shape of the team to accommodate, say, George Walker or Farke at right back, or whether we bring somebody in. But yeah, I know what you mentioned, John, about the fitness and stuff, and I totally agree. You would think now that full-time status and that cohesive group will mean we can go and go on a massive run. The challenge is we've had so much disruption this season. Like look at us at the moment. We're kind of depleted / getting in more loan players. Like we had a new loan player in this week. We're probably going to have one or two in this week. And when you're at the business end of the season and you're introducing new faces, new personalities to the team and more loans, like it's far from ideal. Like if you're scripting it, this isn't what you would be close to wanting to have. However, it makes an amazing story. So the romanticist in me thinks maybe the stars will align. You lose two of your best players. We've had loans all season. Recruitment was poor in the summer, and somehow we find a way. That's what I hope happens. But I don't know.
Well, Murray has said to get players in, it's hard because if they're good, the team won't want to let them go, and it's going to cost a lot of money. And then the other ones aren't really worth it. So how do you strike a balance there? Like Dave Worrell, he was at the end of his career. Well, he actually was the end of his career because he quit after Harriers. So where do we find a gem like Dave Worrell or whatever? Where do we do that from? Surely there's someone out there for us.
I think you have to look primarily at players that have already been on loan this season at the same level. Who's it? Someone's mentioned George Pickford. Phil Banner's mentioned George Pickford. He was on loan at Southport. I believe his loan's ended now. I might be wrong. He might still be there. So for me, you look at players like that, who have been on loan and either it hasn't worked or been recalled or for whatever reason. And those are the kind of players who will come in for the last half dozen games because they clearly want to play football. I'm not talking about just loans from Premier League sides, obviously. I know someone further up mentioned Alex Palmer. I think that might be, we might need some magic team to get that one. But
maybe Tom can pull some strings.
Yeah.
Possible.
But that's where I think Murray will probably look to start with it is either dip into that PL2 market like he has with the new lad, or look at players that have been on loan from Champ, League One, League Two sides at other National League North or National League South clubs who are just going to be sat around and probably want a bit of football for the rest of the season, and that we can say, okay, well, we'll match whatever they were on before. Money is always going to be an issue at the business end of the season. And we get that. In terms of who now, no one can replace Joe, folks. Let's be clear. We're not talking about replacing him. Who covers for him? Who does his equivalent of mat cover? Eye cover? Then I think George Walker for me is probably the obvious replacement. I I don't. The defensive side of his game is absolutely not going to be anywhere near Joe's, and I think he would probably admit that himself. I don't think Seb Thompson would be the right choice there. Although I do think the defensive side of his game has improved massively in the last few games. He's working a lot harder. What are the other choices you've got?
Hang on. Whoa, John, hang on. I've had a thought, and it did hurt. Divine can play on the right. Is that correct?
Mate, let's not. No. I'm not having. I'm not. Divine's preferred and best position, and what he's done for us is the left-hand side, and he's working wonders there. Let's not mess with.
Yeah, you lose that as well if you move him out. You're losing both. He won't be as good at Joe at right back, and you then miss him on his.
Yeah, let's not start messing around with that.
Well, I'm not messing around with it. Adam Murray's messing around with it. I'm just saying that, But what if we went in the market and there was an amazing left-footed player? Does he then go to Reece? Reece, listen, man, I need you on the right. Can you do a job for me? Seb can play right wing back or whatever.
No. I like Seb is Seb for me can play left or right wing. I feel like he actually is best when he's interchanging between them, because if he gets frustrated one side, which I think he does, he's a player who gets frustrated, then he can switch over mid game to the other side and then try his luck there. I absolutely don't think we should be switching Divine over at all. I think he needs to stay where he is and continue the brilliance there.
Let's hope Farke's a right back or can play right back. And
him
or Walker.
Imagine.
We've got players who can play right back. We have got players who can play right back, and you got to remember we're only talking about a short period of time. We don't know how long Joe's out for, and the priority is him and his health. But he could be back in months time wearing a mask. We don't know. Someone said Cam right back. He has had quite a few games for us as a right-sided centre back, and do I think he could play there? He certainly wouldn't be the same type of player that Joe Folks is, but could he play there and do an excellent job defensively and play that more inverted role where he's coming inside?
He is comfortable on the ball. He is comfortable on the ball.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He's cool, man. Cool as cucumber is Cam. Absolutely. So, there's obviously going to be an announcement tomorrow or Tuesday morning about the signing of goalie. That's probably going to happen unless they go with Bishop. So who would you like to get in before Thursday then, guys? Did I ask this question? I'm asking it again. Who do we need to get in? By the way, the new kid in midfield, he's going to be a different gravy at the end. He's going to be awesome.
Good. That's positive. I'll go with Nathan Ashmore as the lone goalkeeper, and don't know the guy's name, but because he's probably not available. But the guy that Boston had in that playoff semi-final at Agbra 2 or 3 years ago, that was on loan from Sheffield United. If he's at a, if he's at a championship club still, and not getting minutes, I wouldn't mind seeing him.
I think I've got to be honest here, guys. Sorry, I think Dan Mees is doing too much typing. He might be hurting his back because you've got back injury. I don't want him doing his back in when he's doing all the typing, unless he's talking to his phone or whatever. Dan, go to bed, mate. We got it, mate. We got it. You go to bed, son. Go to bed. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your sleep. Right. We're nearly the hour. Is there anything else you want to talk about at all? Anything else that we should talk about?
You sound my son would say you sound like Cody Rhodes there, Wes, if you know who that is.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, one for the wrestling fans. So if Matt Paddock's listening, that'd be one for him. I think I'm looking forward to Tuesday. I think that it's a really good opportunity for us to continue with some of the encouraging signs, as Jason Cundy would say, that I believe we saw yesterday.
Good team.
So we're not gonna talk about the game yesterday because essentially we've got a chance to replay that game, and the most important thing is that the lads are well. probably the biggest thing that I want to say, and that there's a comment, a couple of comments about in the chat tonight about the situation yesterday and about the photo that was put up. And I just want to say, all of us on this podcast and all of us in the comments as well, we're all Kidderminster Harriers fans, and we all want the team to do really well, but we all go beyond that. We're not just sat cheering on the team. We are all quite involved in and around the club. We spend time talking to each other, talking to other fans, talking to the players, management, people at the club, as and when we can and as and when they're available. But we don't do that for any other reason than we love the club. We don't want any kind of, acknowledgement for that. We're not seeking to get anything. It's just really, for us, this podcast has just been a chance to get people talking about the club and talking to each other, engaging, connecting about the thing that we all love. And look, we obviously we've had a conversation about it, and none of us, and including Wes, think that it's a good idea to show players in that situation. But for those who know Wes and for those who've only ever heard him on the podcast, there's absolutely no malice, no ill intent, and no desire to put any players, families, or friends at risk of any upset. It was an absolute mistake that happened, and it was well intentioned, but it was one of those things. But for people saying that it was antagonistic, or it was done to try and gain engagement or try and gain a bit of controversy, I can absolutely guarantee you that is not the case. If we were to end this podcast today, if this was to be the last episode, which I assume it's not, but if we were to go off tonight and we weren't to speak on here again, then Wes would still be supporting the club just as much as if we were on here every week. So it's a shame that's happened, but I appreciate the apology, Wes, and hopefully everyone else does, and we can unite behind the one thing that does unite us all, which is our love of Harriers.
That almost felt like a rallying cry, John. Thank you so much for that, man. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Well said, John. Well said, John. You have John chips and curry, Wes. Not sure what that means, but yeah, okay.
Basically, I love chips and curry sauces. So I've often got chips and curry sauce in the door stand. But to be fair, there's not many foods that I haven't had up there. I love a cottage pie, chips and curry sauce, and all of it.
Are we going to vote for the best food at Agborough this season? Which, by the way, I was a little bit annoyed about the fact that for Christmas, I had the picture of like what they were doing. I can't remember what club it was, but they had literally the Christmas dinner in like a little cup. They had potato and turkey and gravy and all that kind of thing. And then I was like, I hope the club do it. And they didn't. And that was a bit of a letdown, I think. And it was a missed opportunity. But for me, so far, that steak pie, Nick, it changed my life, mate. Absolutely changed my life. So
yeah, it's solid. Very, very, very good.
But then again, are we going to talk about food that's offered on a match day at Kidderminster Harriers, which would include an ounce steak? Because that's just unbelievable, to be fair, for a tenner. That's pretty good.
The ounce is fantastic. But I think we should save the food chat for another day, and we should move on to see if Nick's got any other business.
Oh,
no, I've been really lazy, haven't I? The last few weeks. I don't think I've had any other business since about September. But no, I guess just to close out, really, I guess like similar to what John said, disappointing yesterday, but the reason I'm on this podcast personally is I love having the chat on a Sunday night. It's a real nice sort of closure for the week and start of the following one. I love seeing people's comments, opinions. So yeah, not great when you see some of the comments, but hopefully everyone realises that it was just, like you say, an error in judgment. We move on, and we can get back to the good stuff of talking about matches and the team and the fans and all the rest of it. And like I said at the very start of the show tonight, really awful thing that happened yesterday with those injuries, but let's just hope that it kind of in some way galvanises us and we can all be celebrating with Joe Dibble and others, and with a playoff and a promotion campaign. That's it, really. I'm looking forward to the end of the season. I can't believe there's only 4 or 5 weeks left of it. It feels almost like, in some ways, 2 years ago, in some ways 2 weeks ago, that we first started this podcast, and to be on episode 50 plus is crazy. So yeah, let's see what the next few weeks hold.
I want to end with Gary's comment. We didn't really start with it, but it was pretty close to the beginning of it. And David going to college to go and do his football. That's amazing. Dave's he's the nicest kid, honestly. He's always happy.
Yeah. That was one of the highlights for me tonight. Seeing that. That's made my evening. Like, really pleased for him.
Yeah, and I as I've echo that. And I'm just so happy that around the country, disability football, SEN football, is becoming so much more commonplace, and there's so many more routes into that for people. If there's any parents of SEN or disabled kids listening who'd like an opportunity to play football, ability is absolutely not what we look for. It's just attitude and enjoyment, and we make things as accessible as possible for people. So if anyone is interested in their kids having the opportunity to play when mainstream teams might not be right for them, then drop us a message and I'll get back to you. And for me personally, it's just an absolute joy that the club that I've loved for, giving away my age, 35 years, something like that.
16 years.
It's 10 years since I was 21. It is offering this opportunity to children and adults. I had a really good chat today with Nigel, who's the manager of the adults disability team for Harriers, and the opportunities that they're getting to play in local leagues and represent the club are great. And again, that goes right up to Richard Lane. He's aware of everything that's going on. He signed it all off. I think we're in a really, really good place with that. And in terms of the podcast, like you said, Nick, one of the things I would encourage people to do is I enjoy it when people come up and say, yeah, I agree with what you said. I enjoy it even more when people come up and say, do you know what? I thought you were talking rubbish the other day.
You know what, John? I can't relate.
Yeah. Did you not hear me when I came up to you the other day?
No.
But I genuinely, I love talking Harriers. I love speaking to people in the arms that I've never spoke to before. And just talking about the club, where it's come from, where we're going, the current squad, past squads. Absolutely love it. So, keep talking to, God, I sound like Jerry Springer. Keep talking to us and each other, because
you don't want to go down that route, John.
No, maybe not.
We don't want a documentary on Netflix in 10 years talking about how you bullied us all. me and Wes just sort of phased out into.
I didn't even want a podcast, Nick. I didn't want a podcast. He made me do it for his own gain.
I've just checked my phone, by the way. Still no call from Adam Murray about the loan deal. So disappointing, but to be expected, I suppose.
I'm just going to say, guys, I love tonight's show. I absolutely loved it, and it is a show, and I loved it because we were talking about just the most simple things. We're talking about fixtures. We're talking about, not simple, but we're talking about what we did at the beginning, about David and stuff. And it was just, we just offered something different tonight, I think. I don't know how you felt about that. We talked about other clubs, and we don't really do that very often, do we?
Yeah, quite enjoying talking about the other fixtures. That was something new, something decent. And look, there's going to be hopefully the next X amount of weeks. I don't know how many weeks is actually left of the season, but it's not many, is there? A handful of weeks left. Let's hope that these conversation shows, all the comments are going to be stacked over the next few weeks, because we're all getting excited. Like, that's what this part of the season or in the next few weeks should hopefully be about, and hopefully it will come to life on this podcast, because at the start of the season on this we were talking about new signings, a new manager, the end of an era. Southport had just happened, albeit prior to the pod starting. Now this is business season. Now this is it. So hopefully it's a special few weeks for everyone involved. Be amazing.
Do you remember the interview when Adam Murray stopped saying there's still loads of games left to play? Because that was all he used to say in every interview. We just lost. We just got hammered. And he go, but there's loads of games left to play. And I don't think you can say that anymore. But there you go. Anyway, guys, listen, thank you so much for tonight. Really appreciate that.
Sorry, Wes. I just want to give, this is not any way related to what I've just been talking about, but I just want to give the final shout out, and this will involve one swear word. Phil Banner has commented, and he's corrected himself, because he's put at least the fucking season is coming back, and then he's corrected himself and put cricket season. But whether it's a fucking season or a cricket season, Phil, you enjoy it.
Yeah, we hope you're happy, mate. We hope you're happy. Well, so John Smith, thank you so much for coming on, mate. Nick, well done, Nick. Oh, by the way, I also saw the other Nick Hatton, and he got there early at the game yesterday, and he had what looked like a drill box in his hand. I said, mate, you're doing some DIY. He was like, well, I was supposed to be going and doing commentary, but yeah, that sounds good as well. So there you go. You've been watching Kidderminster Harriers Fans Podcast, episode 57. Thank you so much to everyone getting involved. Thank you for sticking around for that. And when the gong goes, that'll be it, my friends. So thank you. See you at Darlington if you're going on Tuesday night, or at Oxford as well. So we'll see you then. Gong time. Have a great evening. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.
Got the Harriers.